Good evening, everybody! Welcome to round 11 of International Sim Racing Organization's 1986 F1 Series, coming to you from the Hungaroring. Cars have finished their qualifying session and the server is currently closed. We will join it in a moment.
Good morning, class. Cocology.
Slight input there from Max Headroom, but we're waiting on the server to start up again. Today we are at the Hungaroring in Hungary. This is a track that many people would term as a processional course. So let's take a look at the map itself. And as you can see, there aren't many straight bits there. You got one that looks like you can overtake right at the end of the straight, but the rest of it's pretty snaking all over the place, and as soon as you get going pretty quick, you got to slow down again. This was the first time that the Hungaroring was used in a F1 race, and it's set in a natural amphitheater, actually. So you have a situation where the spectators can see all of the racing all over the track. It's a really beautiful view. But as far as the racing itself goes, historically, this track does not produce the greatest because of all of the corners everywhere. It makes overtaking practically impossible. Having said that, it'll be interesting to see what our drivers today can do with this track, because oftentimes we have preconceived notions of what a track might bring in a race, and we're often proved dead wrong. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But at any rate, thanks everyone for joining us today. We have hopefully a really good race on tap for you. I'm sure that as I've been, most of you have been watching the Goodwood Festival of Speed this weekend, which has been a lot of fun. Lots of interesting stuff. If you want to comment on what your favorite cars you saw in the Festival of Speed were, feel free to point out in the chat what they are. But so I'm bringing up the server once again here. The race should start in about 15 minutes from this point. And as you can see there, 77 laps are on the docket. We used to do the 2-hour limit, but unfortunately we can't get that to work right now in AMS. So we're just going to straight up say 77 laps. In actual fact, the Hungarian Grand Prix in 1986 only went 76 laps because they reached the 2-hour limit by 1 lap. So, but I doubt that's going to happen here. So while we have a moment here, let's take a look at the point standings going into today's race. The driver's points on your screen right now. Richard Wilkes in the lead with 41 points. Grant Riddall is in second with 34. And then we have a two-way tie for third place between Anders Nilsson and Juha Boss. And then David Jakes is in fifth place with 21 points. For the constructor standings, JPS Team Lotus is in the lead with 53 points. And then we have Scuderia Ferrari in second with 47 points. Equipe Ligier is in third with 39 points. Benetton Formula in fourth with 37 points. And Marlboro McLaren International with 36. I want to go back to the driver's points real quickly to point out that even though Richard Wilkes has got a little bit of a lead now on second place, you can see there, 34, 31, 31. So this championship's far from over. There's still so much to play for, so much that could happen, and the drop scores have not come into play yet. So, now that the server is back up and running, let's go on track here, and we can have a look at what drivers are dealing with here at the Hungaroring. Lots of switchbacks, lots of very tight corners all throughout here. And I believe this is Juha starting a lap here. Yes, it is. So here we have a chance to see. Oh, yellow flag. That's another thing. I wonder how many incidents there will be in this race. Juha exits the final turn. This coming up here as we head down this short hill is probably the prime overtaking point on the circuit. Coming around here, back to the right. Now back to the left. And then there's this one chicane right here, which a lot of people scratch their heads and wonder, why is this here? because really the best thing to do would have been to just blast right through there, but that's actually what the circuit does in later configurations. Now accelerating once again. Up the hill. Back to the left. But you can just see it's just a continuous streaming of corners. Not all of them are very easy to do. Some of them are kind of Mickey Mouse in nature. So once Alberto gets here, we can ask him about the who he thinks is going to have the edge in terms of car here in this race. I would tend to think that the point-and-shoot cars, like the Renault-powered ones, would have the edge, but we'll see. Renault's, of course, powering the Tyrrell team, the Lotus team, and the Ligier team. I knew I was forgetting one there. So he comes to the final corner here, and now he's heading up a hill. But you can see it's just there's going to be virtually no obvious places to overtake except for turn 1. Back onto the straight again here. Lots of elevation change in this track, but not in a way that can help with overtaking, I don't think. There goes Juha down into turn 1. Nicely modeled track, this. Definitely true to what Hungaroring was and is. But we'll have to see what kind of a race this track will give us today. That one corner there, I just don't get that corner at all. It's really strange. Inexplicable. But you see right there where the Olivetti sign is, the track in later configurations blows right through there as a straightaway, giving another pseudo overtaking opportunity. Ooh, a little bit of a lurid moment for Juha there in his McLaren. I would think the McLaren would not be very comfortable here because it's a car that tends to understeer. And with corners like this, I would think that that would make it a little harder, unless that's the kind of driving that you like to do. I'm thinking that Juha would like to hang the tail end out a little bit more if he could. In any case, let's take a look at some other items we have here for you, including what is coming up at ISO. We're getting close to our August break, which is definitely going to be welcome for some of us because we're, quite frankly, getting a bit burned out. We need some time to ourselves and time to chill. But coming up next week is the Machinist Union 150 at Trenton. We've already started practicing for this, and there are still cars available if you feel like driving in circles with our USAC boys and one girl. You're more than welcome to join us. Actually, this track has a right-hand turn on the back straight. So it is a kidney bean-shaped track. So technically it's not an oval, but it's definitely one of the more difficult tracks during the year. I think the most difficult one we did was last week, or the last one we did, which was the Pocono International Raceway. But this one still is very difficult. Moving on to the next week. This is the last race we will do before we go on our August break. The Großer Preis von Deutschland. Großer Preis von Österreich, which is the 12th round of the F186 series. And it's going to be very different from this race. Much higher speeds will be attained, and everybody loves the Österreich-Ring. I don't know anybody who doesn't like it. Sunday, July 25th, the green light at 2000 CET, and CEST, and I will be broadcasting that for you. Trivia question for you, having to do with this race. Which driver set the fastest lap, race lap specifically, in the 1986 Hungarian Grand Prix? Was it A, Nigel Mansell, B, Nelson Piquet, or C, Alain Prost? We'll have the answer later for you in the broadcast. And I believe we're now joined by Alberto Ibañez. Alberto, good evening. Oh, hang on one second.
To be here at the broadcast booth with you.
Ah, there you are. My apologies. I had TeamSpeak muted at that point. But good to have you here with us, Alberto. We're talking about this track, which, if you look up processional in the dictionary, it says "see this." But but I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think our drivers may be able to find some passing opportunities that are not obvious to you and me in the booth?
Well, I think this is one of the tracks that doesn't get much love in the Formula One grid, because people know that, as you say, it's a bit professional. It's not one of those tracks that catapult drivers to the glory, you know. But it's one of those tracks where you really mount a championship challenge. is one of those tracks that you cannot neglect. You need to score the points here. It's tracks like this one here that are not all the glorious Monaco or Spa, all the tracks that everybody knows. It's these tracks here that give you actually the opportunity to be a championship, because if you want to be a championship, let's face it, you need to score well in the very important tracks, but also in tracks like this one here. So I think it's going to be an interesting race, because as you say, we gotta see who finds the opportunity to overtake and who has the best strategy. But also I think that the one who comes victorious out of here is going to mount a serious championship challenge.
What kind of cars do you think are going to be the best around here? The point
Well,
and
for
shoot
sure
cars?
the most agile. I would think that the Ligier, but especially the Lotus, should have a good chance here.
All right, cool. Oh, Yuha, I believe, is just spun out here. How do you think the McLaren's going to do around this track with its...
Well, you already mentioned it, but I think the understeer, that is the second nature of the McLaren, is going to be a struggle here. These are not agile cars. These are very stable cars, very good fitted with that powerful force attack engine that has so small fuel consumption, but probably not the best suited for here. I'm hoping to see here Richard will score very well and really confirm his championship challenge. And it wouldn't surprise me very much if we see Grant Riddle at the top here.
Yeah, we have a short amount of time here before we go to the race, so we're going to forego commercials this time. I think Tandy Computers have had plenty of publicity already. But in any case, yeah, this is going to be a very different challenge to what's going to come next at the Österreich ring. But I would think the most important points in the race here, Alberto, are going to be the pit stops and the start.
Because yes, and also the tires. Tires are going to be absolutely critical here. I'm looking forward, as we have our usual rundown in the main grid, to see what kind of tires people have chosen here, because it's going to be a real tire eater. And even if the most agile cars, nimble and agile like the Lotus, they are going to be eating tires at a very quick ratio.
Yeah,
so taking care of them, preserving them, that's going to be paramount. And it wouldn't surprise me much if we see here people use the hardest compound, absolutely.
Yeah, anything below 30 degrees Celsius is deemed cool, as far as Coxon is concerned, and he's saying that we should expect hards or mediums. 1 to 2 pit stops. Surprisingly, fuel not a big issue here with all the accelerating, decelerating.
Exactly. You cannot have here the loud pedal pushed to the metal for too long. There are too many twisted sections and corners and all the lot here.
All right, so there are a couple of teams that have, well, one in particular, it's increased its horsepower figure, and that is, oh my goodness, several cars going off there. The Benetton team has increased their power figure just a little bit, looking for them here. Of course, it'll be the very last car I come to. Yeah, here they are. The Benetton camp has increased their horsepower from 884 to 895. And this is the second in a succession of times where their power has increased, I think. So that's going to be, looking under that bonnet, there is going to be some really exciting stuff, I think, coming from the Benetton team. We'll see how they do in the race.
Yeah, the main problem for the Benetton is that the BMW engine is one with a very, very narrow power band. So this is not exactly the best thing here, because you want here a wide power band, something that catapults you out of the short corners, of the slow corners here. So even if they have that power advantage here, I can imagine that's going to be magic at the Österreich ring, but here they're going to have a big struggle today.
What about the Brabham team? What do you think of their chances here today?
Poor guys in the Brabham team. I mean, their hot rod-like car is not going to be at home here. I'm sure about that. But the good thing is, obviously, there is the quality of the drivers. I think that nobody's going to question Brian Janik's quality, but it's going to be a big struggle. I mean, this is a long wheelbase and narrow car. It's a low one. It's very, very, very personal design that happened to be in this year. And it has the power band, the narrow power band of the BMW engine. So I don't think they are going to have an easy life here.
Yeah, their BMW engine is at 864 horsepower, which is considerably less That's 30 horsepower, 31 horsepower less than Benetton's BMW engine. So, I mean, is it fair to say Benetton is the BMW factory team?
Yeah, Benetton is the factory BMW team. The other ones have always one evolution behind. Yeah, so
meaning Arrows and Brabham. Okay, cool.
It's still a great engine, but as I said, with a very narrow power band, and that's a big problem. It's maybe not so much a problem in terms of the handling of the car, because you can always go to shorter gear ratios, and the Brabham specifically has 7 speed, which means they can put them very close together and not lose a lot of RPM when they are shifting. But the big problem here is not just that. I mean, the big problem here is that if you are hitting the rev limiter constantly, reliability is an issue. And if you have a very narrow power band, that means that in these short turns, you are going to, when accelerating, very easily hitting the rev speed limiter.
Have you been watching the Festival of Speed this weekend?
Oh, yes, I've been with Little Al today. There was actually, at least the time that we had been watching, it was a Penske festival, which we were very happy with.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Roger actually got to drive a Porsche Spyder up the hill.
Yeah, indeed, we saw that.
And John Watson got to drive the Penske PC4 that he won at Austria in. So, pretty sweet. And Emo was there, too.
Of Marlboro liveried cars, which I absolutely love.
Emo got to drive Ayrton Senna's MP4. Oh. Yeah. No, it's a really, really, it's always such a great event. Every year when it's on TV, I say the same thing to myself. I've got to go to this thing.
Yeah.
One year, hopefully I will. I'm going to have to arrange for my brother to meet me there from Japan and my dad and I to fly across. But there's literally something for everyone at the Festival of Speed, including drifting this time around, which I know I know that some purists were not really thrilled about that. Especially watching on TV, you could hear them squealing tires like practically the entire time off camera while you're watching what's coming up the hill. So, but in any case, so we got 52 seconds to go now. Predictions for the race. Who do you think's gonna win?
I think it's going to be hard to bet against the Lotus today. And I think that Wilkes is going to excel, but you never know. I mean, we got so many quality drivers, it's hard to tell. But my bet for today would be Richard Wilkes, because this is a track that is very much suited for the Lotus. There is no problem with the fuel consumption, which is very important when you get a Renault engine. And also, if you're an old fox like Richard Wilkes, you should be able to read very well in this race.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. I think, personally, my instincts say Jakes is going to win.
Well, also an old fox, a guy that can read very well the races. Yeah, that's
exactly.
Sure.
So we'll see what happens. So clock ticking down here. We arrived a little later than normal, so we didn't see where the qualifying is. So we'll be seeing the grid as you will be for the first time. Hello, Barry Lynn, and hello, Tom. Thanks for being with us. We got 13 viewers on YouTube today. That's great. I hope you've all had a chance to watch our interview with Paul Page. That went really, really well. He's such a gentleman, and we're so grateful that he made the time for us. We also, today, we have a little experiment we're trying, and we'll see what happens afterwards, but we're having our first simulcast in Portuguese today with another separate network picking up our feed and adding their own commentary. So we'll see what happens there, but we realize that we're definitely very popular in Brazil, this league is, so... And they approached us, this particular channel approached us and asked if they could simulcast us. And my reaction was, yeah, absolutely. So we'll see how that goes. But
we're becoming more and more international. That's amazing. I mean, having dual signal for the Portuguese world.
Well, it's in our name. We're international. We sim race, and we try to be as organized as we possibly can be. It's truth in advertising, right, Alberto?
It is.
Yes. Okay, so there you can see Richard Wilkes slotted in at the front. His teammate starting directly behind him in third. So, yeah, definitely your forecast about Lotus is proving correct. They appear to be a force to be reckoned with. And look at that, the two Benettons back there, too. And we've got a Ligier starting in second. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's a Ligier or maybe Vadim Tasiak starting right there. Yes, it appears he is. So, on the pole... for this race, Richard Wilkes and John Player Special Team Lotus. In second is Grant Riddall, Equipe Ligier. Third, Tim Hilla, John Player Special Team Lotus. Fourth, Gabriel Del Piccolo in the first of the Benettons. Fifth, Vadim Tasiak in the Data General Team Tyrrell entry. Sixth, Bruno Paggiola, who is making a guest appearance today, or is actually, he is now a full-time driver for Williams, is he not?
Yeah, yes. Not
Okay.
for Williams, not.
No?
Bruno Paggiola, not for Williams. He's subbing for Keo Michiels, who is
Oh,
still
I see. All right, thank you. Seventh is David Jakes, Benetton Formula. Eighth, Richard Coxon in Scuderia Ferrari. Ninth is Anders Nilsson in the other Ferrari. 10th, Brian Janik, Motor Racing Developments. 11th, Ray Riddall, Equipe Ligier. 12th, John Team for Team Haas USA. 13th, Juha Boss, Marlboro McLaren International. 14th, David Saber in the other Tyrrell. 15th, Cesarius Schlipinski, West Zach Speed Racing. 16th is Bruno Chacon in the other McLaren. 17th, Francois Remen, Barclay Arrows BMW. 18th, Adam Hackman, Cannon Williams Honda Team. 19th, Alberto Aquino, Osella Squadra Course. 20th, Fernando Portiero. I believe he's making his debut at ISO today.
Yes, he is.
Driving in for the Minardi team. 21st, Jason Whitehead for Team Haas. That is a guest drive. 22nd, another newcomer, Francisco Amaral in the Jolly Club AGS. So we've got new faces today. That's great to see. 23rd, Luciano Rosa for West Zach Speed Racing. He just picked up your car over in the USAC series. So we'll see what he can do with that. 24th, Keo McKeel starting from the pit lane. Interesting. 25th, Mikael Drexler for the other Minardi entry. And rounding out the field, 26th is Simon Watman in the Osella Squadra course.
Lots of hard, very hard tires, the hardest compound possible. You can see at the top of the grid. But interestingly, there is Simon Watman coming up with super softs. I mean, the car is probably quicker on that, but in some laps, I think he's going to have a bite pilot and really go to the pits. And I think the key here, considering how complicated it is to overtake, is what kind of start will we be getting? What kind of start will Richard Wills be getting? Because if Grant Riddall leads him, that's going to be a big bummer here. I don't think, well, there's always a pit stops, but I don't think that it's going to be easy at all to overtake Grant Riddall on track.
All right, getting a shot here where we can look at the cars coming down the hill. All right, we got starters order. Stand by for the start of the Hungarian Grand Prix. And the race is underway. My goodness. Oh, not a good start
for Wilkes.
Oh, my goodness. He's just going backwards. He's in 9th place now.
What a nightmare of a start for him. That's horrible. Absolutely
Grant Riddall
horrible.
is in the lead now. My goodness. That was not expected. And Grant must be hardly believing his luck right now. But here they come around through the chicane. Get a good look at all the cars coming through here. Grant is in first. And we have Gabriel Del Piccolo in second place. Goodness, these cars having to snake through here. It's a lot of work just to get the car stopped and get through there. But it appears everybody got through the first few corners cleanly, which is great, yes. And there is Keo McKeel's joining at the back of the field. So yes, Grant is in first. Del Piccolo is in second. Paggiola is in third. Coxon fourth. Vadim Tasiak is fifth. Tim Hilla is sixth. Anders Nilsson is seventh. So yeah, not a very good start for Lotus in general in this race.
Nope, big problems for them here. And this is a shame because in this race, track position is paramount.
Riding on board now with Richard Coxon, who's in fourth, and he's right behind Bruno Paggiola. And he's going to be definitely hoping to get by at some point here. It looks like he's getting ready to set him up, but very close quarters action here already, and we're not even through lap one. We'll see if he can get a run on Paggiola. It all depends on how good you get off this corner right here. And they got a good exit, but you can see Paggiola, it appears that he turned up the boost, so it's going to be very hard for Coxon to make an attack here. He cannot.
Oh, and sorry, a correction from me here, because I thought you were talking about the Brabham team, but no. If you mean Williams, yes, Paggiola is indeed the factory driver now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he had picked up that car.
I thought you were talking about Brabham. I
No.
was looking at the Brabham at that moment, and I got the wires crossed.
No worries. But yeah, Paggiola has picked up this car because Dave Miller has departed the series. Real life circumstances getting in the way of sim racing, which, we're all aware of. That happens. And you can see right there, I was saying in the start of the broadcast, I'm looking at the down the hill on the left-hand side of the straight if you're looking at the circuit. And where the Olivetti sign is where the track would blow through and not have that Mickey Mouse chicane that people don't seem to care for too much. Cars clipping the dirt here, trying to use as much of the road as possible because you're trying to just get through these corners as quickly as possible, and the best way to do that is to use...
also got a very bad start. He's now making up some positions. He just went by Cesarius Lapinski, but also another quite disappointing start here.
Yeah, that is pretty shocking that he's all the way down in 17th place. I can't believe that. So people just now, do you think part of it might be just the shape of that hill? Although no, actually the downhill portion doesn't start until after you get past the start-finish line. So
I'm so surprised that I tend to think that maybe the sequence of the starting lines was not what these guys expected.
It must have caught them by surprise. Here comes Coxon up the inside, trying to take Paggiola. No, he doesn't have the room to do it, but he's definitely anxious to get around him and move up the order.
And God, this is such a complicated track. I mean, there is always another corner killing your momentum.
Just when you get rolling, you have to slow down again. It's incredibly frustrating.
It's very frustrating and very hard.
I'm frustrated, and I'm
the place where you need to do well.
I'm feeling frustrated, and I'm not even driving. Oh no! Coxon has been hit from behind, it appears. And is he out of the race? No, he's trying to find a gear and get back in. Oh my God, he's falling through the field quickly.
The front wing.
Oh goodness. So, well, let's take a look at a replay of what happened here. Oh no, is it Vadim who's going to be the culprit? It appears it is. All right, this is running it back now here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, Vadim hit Coxon in the back. I'm not sure what precipitated that. Maybe it was a shift that Coxon made that he wasn't expecting, or he braked a bit early. But wow, it's really... And he's out of the race. He's quit.
Yes, probably suspension damage, which cannot be repaired.
And Vadim's out of the race too.
Oh.
So both of them quit. Well,
must have been a really hard hit.
It wasn't really. It didn't look that hard on the camera. Interesting. Well, at any rate, Grant continues. Del Piccolo is in second. Maybe I picked the wrong BMW to win. Paggiola holding his own in third.
And watch out for Wilkes, who is making up for a lot of his botched start. He's now going past John Tim and wants also to get past Ray Vidal.
Yeah. Wilkes is also making up ground. He's up to 9th now, and now he's looking to overtake Ray Vidal, but he's definitely on a charge, trying to make up time. I think you're onto something there as Whitehead overtakes Little Al. I think you're onto something there, Alberto. The cadence of the lights may have caught some people by surprise. Yes, David Jakes is now up to 15th place and closing on Adam Hackman. Yeah, he definitely has a full head of steam as Hackman actually makes some room for him there. He knows he's coming through. So 14th place now for David Jakes. So he's got his work cut out for him. But and you can see there that Remen just makes an overtake on Ray Vidal. Oh, Ray Vidal's got an issue of some kind. Yeah.
Yeah, making room for them.
He is actually running. No, I think he's out of the race.
Ah.
Yeah, he is.
Well, that's fortunate for Jakes. That's another position that he just found.
Yeah, so, my goodness. So we got several retirements happening early here, and it appears they're by contact. So that doesn't bode well for the attrition rate if we're only on lap 4. And we've already had 3 retire. It's the 3rd retirement we know about in the race.
Mm-hmm. So Grant is opening a big gap in the front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
given
Well,
that
people
Renault
are
the
following
beans.
him, but I think he has slowed down a bit now, and once the gap was opened, he wants to keep it steady. Meanwhile, there is Bruno Bagiola having a lot of pressure from behind from Tim Hille, who just scored the fastest lap of the race.
The other thing to keep in mind with Grant is that he took advantage of a big bottleneck that occurred there with the slow getaway of Wilkes. Everybody else was kind of suddenly having to negotiate that, and he had a clear view in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
So that also helped him build that gap. But yes, Tim Hille is definitely on a charge here and looking to overtake Bruno. Up the inside, he has a look, but can't get it done. There's going to be lots of people in Brazil watching today, watching Bruno. They're either going to be watching our broadcast or the other broadcast. But, yeah, Tim Hille has shown a lot of speed in this car. He hasn't had the results that his teammate has had, obviously, but definitely is capable of getting around the Williams.
David Jakes having big problems overtaking Bruno Chacon. Always complicated to go by him.
Yeah, getting around Bruno is not easy. Although there, he made it a little easier because he ran off the track.
To
but
the small error,
small error there, and he's able to get around him. But yeah, Jake's now up to 12th. So he's picked up 5 positions in just a short 2 or 3
Richard
laps.
Wilkes has just spun. And
Oh,
he
no!
barely was missed by John Tim.
Let's have a look at a replay of what happened here.
He lost the position also to
Oh,
Brian Granick.
he just lost it on acceleration. The back end came around.
He's trying too much. He's desperate now after this situation. And he is now back down to 10th place.
Oh, man. So this is the big... And Tim Hille has gotten past Bruno Pagiola. That's the thing that you try not to do, is compound one error with another one in a race. But appears that's what's going on with Wilkes. He needs to cool down a little bit if he wants to score a victory here. Very good drive so far from Gabriel. Pretty quiet. And yes, Grant is way out in front now. Got almost a 6-second lead on Del Piccolo.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim Hille definitely is starting to pull out a bit of a gap on Bruno. So, and we have Anders Nilsson 5th. So all is not lost for Ferrari. Juha Boss in 6th place in the understeer machine that is the McLaren MP4. Saber is in 7th. John Team in 8th. 9th is Brian Janik so far, and 10th there Richard Wilkes, who's coming up on him really quickly. This ought to be good.
Yeah, and I think this is also a critical race for Juha Boss because he needs to really make some points here. At some point, we're going to start with the top scores, and if you got too many of the scores that were not good, you're going to be dropping them, and then you end yourself with too little points. So I think that Juha knows it. He really needs to score here well if he wants to keep his championship hopes. It's other results that he wants to drop.
Coming off of the final turn here, it's all about how you get off of this turn because, oh, and look at that. Richard Wilkes definitely has a roll on Brian, and he squeaks by on the inside up to 9th place.
Yeah, probably using a lot of the boost here because we know fuel consumption is not an issue.
Yeah.
But he needs to do absolutely everything that he can to make up positions because he's right now without any points, and this is a track that favors the Lotus, so this is really not a good situation for him to be in.
All right, so now I believe he's coming up on a lap. He's coming up on John Team now. Yeah, and I'm guessing you don't want to get on these curbs too much, right?
No, they are very high, so they upset the car a lot. So the Lotus here has good traction coming out of the corners and all that, but still, I mean, the problem is you don't get the straights that you need to be able to overtake. I mean, the main straight, where they start, is actually one of the few opportunities you got. So that's what Wilkes is trying to do now. He's not trying to overtake now. He's trying to be close enough here because this next one is going to be very key.
Yeah, he's setting up this overtake 2 turns in advance.
Look at how close he gets now.
Yeah. Now he's absolutely...
Now he's going to crank up the boost. This is
right
his
there.
chance. There he goes.
There he goes. Yep, really well put together.
And I must say, even if this is not exactly the best track to drive because it's not so exciting, but man, what a great circuit that Martin Lassina has created.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, from the first attempts that he did when we were doing on our private forum for the modding team, and I absolutely loved it. And well, I mean, Martin has really come on his own here as a modeler, and what a beautiful job he has done.
Yeah, it looks really great. We were marveling at the textures and everything earlier. It really looks nice.
Yeah, and I should say, and that's the most important thing, that all this work was done purposely because we started from the GP4 track, which is lesser scale. So
Yes.
this is the most accurate track that you can get actually for Automobilista for the Hungaroring nowadays. Wilkes really opening the gap there. It shows how much quicker he was than the rest of the field. But Grant is not intimidated by that, that's for sure. He just scored his fastest lap.
Mm-hmm.
There's a message for Richard Wilkes and anyone coming from behind. So the next target for Richard Wilkes is David Sabre, who is there on a very lonely 7th position. Very lonely. I mean, he doesn't even get to see the car in front of him nearly. Which is Juha Boss following Anders Nilsson.
We got Chief in the chat again.
Yep.
Watching his great work here.
Tim Hille on his own, however, is getting very close to Gabriele Del Piccolo. It's really paying off to have a Lotus here today.
Yeah, he can just Wilkes can just see the car ahead of him, just barely. But,
I see yellow flag in this sector. There was an Ocella in the wall there. That must have been Simon Watman. Yeah, who just abandoned.
Meanwhile, Brian Janik is closing in on David Jakes. And Jake's actually coming up. He's still behind John Team. So John doing a good job of holding his own here in the Ford-powered Lola.
Well, Jakes has also made his way up very quickly through the grid.
Mm-hmm. After a bad start.
After a bad start.
Now let's see how he does here. He's trying to get in position to overtake here.
Yeah, against that movement as Wilkes. Coming as close as possible here on the apex and now cranking up the
punch. He's got it now, yeah. And absolutely. There he goes.
With that BMW power. Absolutely nothing that team could do here.
Mm-hmm. Wilkes at 8th place. Sabre is his next target, and he is definitely closing on Sabre.
He's
no
so
question.
Much than all the people in front of him. It's a shame that we didn't get to see him there at the top because he's probably the only one who could have put a battle there for Grant Vidal. And we all know how good Grant is when he's in the front, driving all by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Hille on his own, however, chasing Gabriele Del Piccolo and coming very close now.
Oh, yep, there he is. Oh my goodness, there's I believe that was a Minardi that spun out there, but thankfully off the racing line, and nobody has any issue getting around it. It was either Drexler or Fernando, I believe. In any case, yeah, it appears it was Drexler. Yep, Tim Hill definitely close.
The twistier the section, the closer he gets to the car in front. This Benetton is not the most comfortable thing to drive here around today. Very powerful in the straights, but complicated on the twisty sections, which is nearly 90% of the track here. And Bruno Pagnola, however, doesn't really lose them at all. I mean, he was overtaking, but
Oh,
here they come.
well, you know what? He did a really good job staying out of the way there, but look at this. Tim's right on the doorstep of Del Piccolo here, so...
Yeah, the pressure is starting now.
Yeah. And Del Piccolo is known for making that car as wide as he possibly can, so this ought to be interesting here.
Yeah, and
it's
he's
funny.
a very light breaker, so
Yeah.
he's not the guy that you really want to have in front of you and try to overtake.
It's funny, like every corner or so, we're seeing dust being thrown up. It's like a continuous thing around the circuit.
Yeah, people try to climb the walls and go everywhere to try to get those precious tenths of a second.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they are nowhere, actually, in this track. The only thing that you can do is bite the bullet and really be patient with that throttle.
It looks like he's going to make a try here up the inside. Is he going to get it done? Yes, he does. Del Piccolo down to third, Hilla up to second.
Good brake move there.
And now Pagnola sees an opportunity here. And another lap car here. This is Luciano Rosa. And he is going to use the straight to let everybody by here. Very sporting of him.
Yep.
So no problem here. Yep. One of the straighter parts of the circuit.
And let's see if this second Lotus is actually able to cut back the distance to the car in front. Because Grant Ridal is there driving on his own 8 seconds in front. And he should have some more competition.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, did you see what Chief just said in the chat?
Nope, sorry, I'm not watching the chat.
Oh, well, he says that he's working on an IndyCar 1990 mod.
Well,
you know what that means. It means the March Porsche. With
that's one of those offers that you cannot refuse, can you?
Oh, goodness. My favorite car of all time. The one with the turbocharger in front of the engine. It makes the big whistle sound as it goes by. Fastest lap of the race by Tim Hilla, 1 minute 33.618. So definitely the Lotus is the car to have here, it appears. I'm really impressed with Bruno so far. I mean, most of the time when he's raced at ISO, he's been saddled with mediocre cars. But here he is in some top-line equipment, and he's showing what he can do. It's pretty sweet.
No, absolutely. He's a quality driver. I mean, as you say, the issue is that we haven't been seeing him on quality cars before.
No, it's great to see that's the case. A lot of drivers this year have had a chance to show what they can do in quality cars. Another example I would cite is Simon Wattman. Mm-hmm. He got a chance to drive for Roger in a couple of races, and he proved to be very quick.
Look at you, Habos, now trying to make his way past Anders Nilsson.
Oh, yeah.
Nearly worked out.
Oh, shoot! He nearly ran into the back of him. Oh, guys, come on. Dang it. Juha trying to squirt by, but it looks like, is Anders going to hold him off here? He is! My goodness, on the outside. He keeps the position. That's incredible.
Well, this is the most complicated track of the calendar to overtake. That's for sure.
Even more than Monaco?
I don't know, but I would rate it nearly to be the same. Each one has its own challenges, but this one, don't be fooled by the fact that you are going quicker than in Monaco. I mean, all the track here is about killing the momentum in the car. It's very complicated to overtake. So I hope this allows the audience to appreciate even more what these guys are doing here. Let's see if he can make it now in the straight, but
maybe. No,
the boost.
Yeah, he's going to go for it here.
No.
No.
Not enough. Not past that Ferrari engine. Very frustrating situation when you're quicker than another car in the rest of the track, but at the overtaking spot you cannot make it past. Not to mention that Richard Wilkes is coming perilously close to them. He dispensed it with David Sauber some laps ago, and he's coming really hot from behind here.
Look, here he goes again. He's going up the inside. Is he getting... No! Well, that was the inside in that turn, but then he was in the wrong place on the next turn.
This is a party that is going to be a 3-1 very soon.
Yep. Oh, yep, you can see there's Wilkes just behind these two. Of course, if he gets ahead of Juha, he's going to then be stuck between the two of them, so that might not be the greatest situation, but once again, more dust being thrown up.
Yes, some cars for some backmarkers having their own battle there. Luciano Rocha versus Keio Michiels. And this is, very good by Luciano, very sporting. I was about to say that this was going to be complicated in some moments, but...
No, Luciano makes room. Very good.
Let's see if Keio... Small lift there should be...
Oh, 3 wide going down the straightaway.
Yeah, you have read it very well how Anderson
Wow.
wasn't able to really...
Oh, no. Collision between Juha and Nilsson.
That was too optimistic of Juha.
Oh,
and the gravel
no.
trucks here are a big problem, so watch out because these two cars could be in big trouble.
3 wide. Here's the replay. Nilsson goes up the inside, and then Juha goes down the inside. That was, yeah, you're right. That was optimistic.
Oof, Brian Janik nearly collided with Juha. Fortunately, all the situation is now gone. Jakes is going to make it past Juha Boss also. Yes.
Yeah, it appears he is,
there.
yeah. My goodness. Well,
Juha has the... No,
Juha's got the inside line. He's going to take it back. So, I mean, you mentioned how Jakes is like, no, I'm not done with you yet. There's more contact. My goodness. So, Juha, definitely, that was not part of the plan. Good grief.
Well, all this was just more in benefit of Richard Wilkes, who didn't have to sweat very much to go past this boat, and is now in 4th position, which is very neat.
Tim Hilla out of the race.
Oh no!
Replay upcoming. If it wasn't too long ago, I would assume it was. I'm rolling back here to see if I can see what happened. Oh, yeah, here it is. Okay, yeah, it looks like an accident. Parts flying. Oh, my goodness. He got on the grass a little bit, and it sent him off. Slippery out there, and he just clouts the wall. That's it.
Yes, lightest error here, and it can be absolutely...
Look at Juha now. He's bottled up behind Janik, and this is a battle for position. He goes up there. Oh, my goodness. He's looking for any room he can. Jake's making an attack on Janik as well. Janik drops 2 positions. Juha up to 8th. Jake's now up to 9th. My goodness. These guys are really letting it all hang out.
Too risky at this point of the race. But well, I mean, the mind gets always hot-tempered with this situation, so...
Jake's definitely, probably of the ones that had a bad start, is doing the best of that group, I would think. By group, I mean Jake's, Wilkes, and who was the other one that had a mediocre start? Brain fade, sorry. In any case, look at this. John Team is getting closer to David Saber here. And this is a battle for 6th place.
Juha and Dave are coming really quick from behind.
Yeah.
So this should be a 4-way battle very soon.
Dave Miller is watching on YouTube as well, and he's been commenting on Bruno Paggiola's driving so far, and points out that he's going to want to be careful about the rev range that he's using, or he's not going to last 77 laps. That's an important piece of information from a guy who's driven that car.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed with John here. I mean, he's not doing his two-wheeled routine that he was doing in previous races, but definitely looks like he's has the opportunity here. If he has the opportunity, he will be able to get past Saber. We'll see what happens.
Very good fight also behind between Jason Whited and Cesarius Lapinski, I must say. It's a shame that we don't have more multiple cameras to be able to show everything that is happening on track now.
Yeah.
But I think the action now is certainly behind David Sabre now, who must be feeling really apprehensive about what he's seeing in his middles.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have a fight on his hands in a minute here between him and John Team. This is a Renault versus a Ford.
Well, it's going to be a Renault versus a Ford versus a Porsche versus a BMW very soon.
Yep.
Which is quite interesting to have 4 different constructors and 4 different engines meeting here on track for a head-on duel.
Nothing's changed at the front, but if we have a look, the lead is now 9 seconds between Grant Radal and Gabriel Del Piccolo.
Yeah, which means it has diminished a bit because it was 12 seconds at some point.
Well, then he's throttled back a little bit then.
Yeah, Grant usually playing with the advantage, as he knows. But man, is this going to become very hot in a moment.
It
Look
definitely
at that.
will.
I mean, Juha is already there, anxious behind John Tim. I just hope he doesn't have another too bigger happy moment.
Uh-oh, Sabre, I think, had difficulty shifting there, but yeah, look at Team. He's right behind him now. He's going up the... Oh, he had a thought about it, but ducked back in.
Yeah, and remember, all these guys are fighting for position, so absolutely no courtesy needed here.
There he goes. He's having a look, but he's going one side, then the other. My goodness. This train of cars here behind Sabre, I would be sweating if I were him. This is serious stuff.
Yeah, not the place you want to be.
Look at everybody! Look at everybody climbing all over each other. Yeah, there's Rocha getting out of the way very sportingly.
Yes,
My
he couldn't
goodness.
vanish, so he decided to go off the track.
Yep. All right, so
boost now up here for everybody. Let's see
Yeah.
who has the biggest.
Yuha going up the inside, it appears.
Oh my goodness! John Team, will he make it? No. David Sabre
No.
closes the door there. But watch out, because this is a turn that you can.
Oh, look at this! Look at this! Jake's going up the outside.
Like a karting race.
It is like karting. This is insane. Jake's actually gets by Yuha, and Yuha falls backwards. God, it's like a mad scramble to get seating at a festival concert here. Look at Jake's running off the track just a little bit. And it looks like
everybody's shifting positions, but always behind David.
yeah,
Sabre.
David's got a little bit of a break here now. Good grief. Wow, exciting stuff.
They are coming up to a lot of traffic, though.
It's true, yeah. We'll see what happens. They've got, I believe that's KO they're coming up to now. Yes, KO McKeel's in 15th place. Right-hand turn, left.
And we're nearly back at the main street where all the hostilities are always open.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. We'll
Sabre's
see
going to
who has
want
the
to
biggest boost here.
Yep, here they come.
Look at that. Look at David Yates. I mean, the power of that BMW. And
Yeah,
basically
is he
got
going to go up
20
the...
yards.
Oh, he's going up the outside now, seeing if he can...
Oh,
Oh, no.
Optimistic. Look at that.
Oh, David Jakes runs off the track.
Ooh,
That's the first
very
big
lucky
mistake
not
we've
to have
seen of
hit the
him.
barrier there.
Trying to get the thing going again, and he's got some momentum. Hopefully he gets across that kitty litter. Yeah, he's fine. He's back on it, but he's down to 10th place as a result. My goodness. So, I mean, and all of this is predicated on people trying to get by. As you see, Fernando Portiero there running very slowly. I'm not sure what's going on there, but in any case, everybody climbing all over themselves to get by Sabre, and that's basically leading to a lot of what we're seeing here.
Yeah, David
team.
Sabre is basically sitting there in front eating popcorn and watching all the things happen.
I don't think he's eating popcorn. I think he's mopping his brow and trying.
More swallowing it.
Yeah. Here comes. And Wilkes now has set the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 33.446.
Yes, he has been cutting down the distance with the car in front for some time.
Cagiola.
But it's still a big one. It's still a big one. I think by the end of the race he should be closing out though. So that's a podium position. But this is going to hurt because Grant is on a winning streak.
Oh, look at this. Juha is right behind John Team and is definitely going to be making an attempt here. Boost up, but I think John turned up his boost as well as he looks up the inside of David. Can't get it done. So, yeah, for a track that's processional, this is actually some pretty big, exciting stuff. As Juha looks up the man, Juha, I don't know that. I know Juha's anxious to get by, but you got to do it at a point where there's room.
And David Sabre is really on a Lord of the Rings stance here in that you won't get by. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at Juha. He is braking very late into the corners. He's running up on people very quickly. And here's I believe Remen makes as much room as he can in that situation without going off the track.
He doesn't really know where to go. I mean, poor guy. He made it absolutely as best as possible, but.
Yeah, he did the best that he could in that situation. So now Team is sizing up Sabre again. Now the question is, when are we going to see pit stops? This is a 77-lap race. Conventional wisdom would say probably between lap 35 and 40.
If they are going for one pit stop, yes, and I think they are going to do that because everybody has about put the hardest tires that they could. And they are going to bite the bullet and basically be only doing one single pit stop.
Look at Sabre drifting back and forth across the track, trying to break the slipstream. But how much slipstream can you reasonably get? I don't think there's any there.
I think it's a psychological move. He wants to somehow make them nervous because you don't really have a clear chance of getting by the car in front of really putting your wheel there to try an overtaking maneuver. So he's basically just playing with them. It's just playing mind games because he knows that the toe is not important here.
No, it's not.
But he really made it. I mean, everybody was following him like the Hamelin.
Oh, look at this! Team goes up the outside. Oh, and Juha nearly runs into the back of him when Team gets shut off. My goodness. Oh, oh, no! Team has a really loose moment in that turn.
Yeah, and recovered very well because Juha was already smelling the blood in the water and absolutely trying to put the car in the min.
Coxon is pointing out to us on the YouTube chat that slipstream, in fact, does matter because these cars are very draggy. So
okay, in any case, Brian Janik is now right behind Juha Boss. So this is again a four-way battle.
Yep. God, Juha looking for every piece of daylight he can find.
Here we are, nearly again in the main straight.
Oh, yes.
Watch out, how much angle is Juha trying to get there? Lots of leverage, and I think that was an error by John Team trying to make...
Yeah, John Team's going to lose that spot.
John Team is in the best position for the braking here.
Oh, look at that! Side by side going into the corner, but of course Juha's in the right spot for the next turn, and he gets it done.
Well, that was a very
perseverance
taking maneuver there on the outside. It was an error by John Team. He was closing the door on the inside and didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Juha moving to the outside. That was very skilled of Juha. And also very well executed. Now let's see if he has more luck with David Sabre. Yeah, that's the funny thing. I mean, everybody's fighting behind David with 6. So all this incredible fight is just for 1 point.
Yeah. I'm going to have to step away from the microphone in a tiny bit, so when I go, I know whose car I'm going to leave on the camera. It's going to be David's. because that's where
Yeah,
the
Nick
action
David.
is. That's where the action appears to be. But again, it's interesting to see Brian doing reasonably well in the Brabham, and other guys here who have equipment that's not the best. Like, John is doing an excellent job driving that Lola, which was not a very good car historically. And David, I gotta say, although look at Yuha
Here
up the
comes
inside.
Yuha. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. It's really nice to see David having a good race.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Is. He has been struggling so far. Oh,
Oh, boost turned up. Here comes Yuha up the inside. He's got the inside line. And David tries to brake later. Oh, look at this. Wow. Side by side, David's in the better spot for the turn, and he's going to hang on to 6th place. Fantastic racing. Oh, slight tap there from Yuha.
yeah,
Yuha looking up the
basically
outside.
lifted from the brake and let the car roll. But
Yuha is still intent on getting by Sabre. Good grief, it's like they're glued to each other's side pods. Incredible.
very stubborn here, and he's going
Yeah,
to
and Yuha finally gets by. Finally, Yuha back.
Oh,
And a key
David
thing
goes
that...
to the grass.
Oh, no. But now he's got John Team right behind him. So this battle isn't over yet.
And I'm betting that David Sabre has now very wet hands.
Probably.
Wetting there in the steering wheel, because this is a lot of effort.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort when you're not dealing with other cars. When it's just you, it's a lot of effort. Oh, I think the pressure may be starting to get to David, because you saw what he did there. He clipped a curb. Oh my goodness. Yeah, David just let them by, and holy good man, he's got now Janik by him. So that dissipated pretty quickly there. I think his rhythm was interrupted there by clipping one of the curbs.
Yeah, he basically hit the lap car there. That's when he lost momentum.
Oh. Well, like we say, lap cars can't get out of the way very easily here. Oh, Yuha has a bit of a loose moment in turn 2. So I wonder if all these attacks have started to chew up his tires a bit.
Could be.
Could be.
We are still far away from the pit stop.
Mm-hmm.
But all this aggression, I mean, it must have been overheating the tires considerably.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look at this now. David looks like he's going to arrive at Brian Janik here. So don't count out David yet.
And Grant is in the pits, by the way.
Aha! All right,
Grant
so
is
we.
in the pits. He's coming out now.
So that means Del Piccolo moves up to first. Pagiola is in
Grant
second.
Ridal drive through. Attention, Grant Ridal.
Oh
just
no!
drive through.
Did he blow the through the pit speed limit?
I'm not
Oh,
sure
that's
what's
incredible.
going on here.
That's an incredible set of circumstances if that's the case, because that means now he has to make a 10-second stop and go, I
It
believe.
said drive-through, I believe, but
Drive-through.
We need to check it and see what happens.
That's incredible. We'll have to keep an eye on that because it's going to have definite.
Wilkes is just behind him now, although Wilkes obviously hasn't stopped yet.
Yes. Well, if Grant obeys race control, he's going to have to give up those positions. But Del Piccolo leads now, has not stopped yet. Neither has Bruno Pagiola, who's in second. Grant Ridal, you're looking at him now, is third.
And we'll see if he serves the pit stop, the drive-through now or not, or if he decides to go another lap. Because I'm really looking forward to see what happens once he comes out of the drive-through, because that will be his real race position.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Into the turn one more time here, leading up to.
No, he's not serving it.
No, he's not serving it. Interesting. He's pulling a Scott Goodyear. He's not acknowledging the black flag. Well, okay. Apparently, well, it said there. I saw the penalty just as you did, but now it's not saying it. So maybe it's been rescinded.
I can still see it.
You can still see it. Okay,
yes.
so it's not going to re-enunciate every time he crosses a line. Well, that's interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on him. David Jakes is out of the race.
Oh,
Just popped up as a DNF. I'm not sure how long ago that was.
also with the drive-through, by the way.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if there is any kind of issue there in the
Well,
pits.
maybe we jinxed ourselves. We talked about how great of a track this is graphically. Maybe there's something lurking in the ones and zeros that
Well,
we didn't.
Literal just made a pit stop and got no drive-through. So
Okay. Do we typically have the pit speed limit?
Michael Drexler also gets a drive-through penalty.
Oh boy.
Where is that? Let me see where he is.
Maybe this is a USAC sanctioned race and we didn't know it. So Paggiola at some point here, and Del Piccolo we would think would be going for the pits, but I think Coxon's correct. The two-stop strategy might be what Grant is doing.
Maybe it's an issue with the pit speed limit. Yes. Maybe people are forgetting about it.
No, I mean if we've
Grant
done it,
has now done the quickest lap.
mm-hmm.
He still has got that drive-through pending.
Well, the best action on the track right now is Brian Janik, and he's closing in on John Team.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
Brian has been driving some very good races recently.
Yes, he has. He did an excellent job in the last USAC race at Pocono, and he's had some excellent results in this car at tracks that you wouldn't expect the Brabham to do well in.
Yeah, he was third at Hockenheim, I believe.
Yes. Coxon says the pit speed limit is 186 miles per hour, which definitely they wouldn't get close to. So it must be something else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they hit the. Maybe they're not hitting the timing beacon correctly or something.
I'm not sure.
Well, in any case.
But like I said, there are cars that have been... Okay, there's another car going for the
Yep.
pits now.
Grant again. Grant, it's Grant making another pit stop. This is his drive-through penalty. It says on the thing. So he's driving through now at not a
80
very
kilometers per hour.
80 kilometers per hour. So
And he has cleared, so...
yep, there you go. So apparently,
Whatever made the game give him that, the game has scored that, and he's now free.
Yep. Well, we'll have to see in the post-race interview. Maybe people can explain what was going on there, but that's a bit of a head-scratcher.
Mm-hmm. David Jakes also, even if he quit... Oh, Francois Remen just spun.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he's in the middle of the track now. Okay, he gets out of the way quickly now.
Janik is definitely looking to overtake John Team, but the problem is Team is reaching up and turning those knobs. Huh. Coxon says it was for speeding in the pits. So if the pit speed limit is 186, and you're getting a pit speed limit violation,
well, these cars are very quick. Maybe on exit. Okay, Bruno Paggiola is now going for the pits. Let's see what happens. He's now 90 kilometers per hour. But maybe if you have one of the early pit spots, and you accelerate way too hard, you are even getting to infract. Okay,
oh, it's 80 kph.
80 kph.
That's what Coxon says now. So that's the.
So Coxon is in the green room now, by the way.
Oh. We still have to do Coxon's car reviews, Richard.
Okay, Paggiola is now accelerating.
Yep.
At some point, he was at 100 kilometers per hour. And he got the drive-through control, of course.
Oh boy, so
Yeah, so it's 80 kilometers per hour. It's definitely 80 kilometers per hour.
well, that's a bit of a surprise.
A big surprise. It seems error slipped through in the GDB, so I'll hold my hands up to that one.
Okay. Well, at least now people are aware, but of course now if they... Oh, goodness, Paggiola running off the track there. What happened there? Letting a bunch of cars by. Dropping to 6th place. That was interesting. Oh, he's got a drive-through as well.
Yes, because he exceeded 80 kilometers per hour.
That's him reacting to it, I guess.
I just called it out. Very unfortunate, yeah, but it seems that there is an 80 kilometers per hour pit speed limit.
All right. I'm going to be stepping away from the mic for a bit. Where should I leave the camera?
See, I think there are no battles going on here. So you can leave it at Gabriele, the leader of the race.
Okay. I'll be back in...
We will see if he is going to have a pit stop or not.
All right, I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay. So regardless, we will be talking about all the action that is on the track, even if the camera is focused on Gabriele. So think of this more as a radio broadcast than anything else. So Gabriele, there he is negotiating this very twisty section. He's coming again to the main straight. We will see if he's going to have a pit stop. Not this time. He obviously has a one-stop strategy. So there should be still some good 5 laps to go. Richard Wilkes is next. He's coming now to the main straight. Again, refuses the pit spot, so... And third is Grant Ridal, who obviously has done already his pit stop. But the interesting thing here is that Grant Ridal, since he stopped so early, seems to be going for a 2 pit stop strategy. Meanwhile, Bruno Paggiola has come out of the pits after his drive-through and is now in front. Oh, he's heading now for the grass. That's very unfortunate. And he apparently quits the race. So yeah, indeed, Bruno Paggiola is out of the race. That's very unfortunate. Meanwhile, I'm faced that Gabriele Del Piccolo is still there in the lead. Keeps going at it. And I think that this should be very encouraging for Gabriele Del Piccolo. He hasn't had the best results lately, but he's a very, very good driver, a quality driver, and he really needs a boost up in his confidence. And I think that this is basically giving it to him. Good lap time so far for Gabriele Del Piccolo. Very steady driving. Richard Wilkes is not that far behind. Not that far. He's coming up to the main street now. And Grant Ridal is also behind Wilkes, some 8 seconds behind. And it's going to be interesting when the pit stop runs start, because Grant Ridal did a very early pit stop, as I said before, which means that he's probably going to do a second pit stop later in the race. Gabriele Del Piccolo and Richard Wilkes, however, seem to be going for a single pit stop, which means that all of these guys, the 3 in the top, have only 1 pit stop to go. This could be therefore interesting because they are close in the track and they only have 1 pit stop to go in all of the cases. Gabriele coming here to lap traffic. That should be Adam Hackman in the second Williams. Oh, and Adam is going now into the pits. Adam taking good care now not to exceed the pit speed limit. And he's on his pit stop now. Gabriele decides to go one more lap. A good lead of 23 seconds for Gabriele Del Piccolo now. This probably should suffice if he wants to do a quick pit stop. But the time is running out. It's 33 laps for him. It's interesting because there is still no indication of him going to the pit stops. Very steady lap times, but the last one has been a bit slower. So maybe this seems to indicate that he is already thinking about doing the pit stop. Probably the tires are already starting to give up. That should be the best moment for the pit stop, because staying there on the track with tires that don't cooperate is not exactly the best idea possible. Here he comes, and yet he goes for another lap. Probably he has got his plan and he's going to stick to it. That's therefore another lap for Gabriele Del Piccolo, our leader, 34 laps. Richard Wilkes is 24 seconds behind. Grant Riddle is 31 seconds behind the leader, which is 6 seconds behind Richard Wilkes. That's a distance that is decreasing. Anders Nilsson very discreetly. We haven't talked much about him this race, as that when he was passed by Juha Boss previously, but Anders is there in 4th position, keeping up there well. And next up is Juha Boss. Not other cars trying to do pit stop so far, which is interesting, because we're really now at the midpoint of the race. Gabriele Del Piccolo closing again to the pits. Let's see what he does now. He's in traffic now. By the way, he's going so quickly, I would say that he's going to, yes, go by again. Another lap for Gabriele. That's going to be 35 laps on the same set of tires. Seems to be quite confident that the tires are going to hold. Not the best of his laps so far, because he had traffic on the last part of it, but still very good in that it was a 1.33. This is good enough because his pursuer, Richard Wilkes, is basically doing high 132s. He's going quicker. We know that Wilkes has a very good pace in this race, but with the big gap that there is between both cars, it's not going to be any threat for Gabriele Del Piccolo anytime soon. Although, if he keeps staying there out on track, it could be that Richard Wilkes is going to undercut him in the pit stops. We will see. There is about 20 seconds between them now. But Gabriele is now finding traffic, so probably it would have been a better idea to pit earlier, not just because of the rhythm in the track, but because of the traffic that he's encountering now. He's now behind David Sabre, who is in 8th position, so he's about to lap the 8th position car. Always hard to be lapping in this track. David Sabre makes room very gently for him. That was very sportsman. And Gabriele, let's see. No, he goes for another lap. He seems to be happy with his rhythm. Will he be going for no stops? I don't think that the tires are going to be able to make it. But that's interesting. Maybe okay, he's signaling the pits now. This time, yeah, he was losing a lot of rhythm there. He was not quick enough to fend off to Richard Wilkes, and he probably has been realizing it. He's again in traffic behind our debutant Fernando Porteiro, and there are more cars in front of him. So, if anything, this wasn't the best possible moment for Gabriele to go in the pits. He should have pit really 2 laps earlier. Fernando Porteiro making room there for him, but this was not a good decision for Gabriel Del Piccolo. But I guess that's what you get when you are having to do the racing yourself and the pit stop strategy and everything, which is what happens here for us. Most of our drivers, except the ones who are blessed with having a teammate that has had to abandon and they are on the same TeamSpeak channel, we are all lacking a crew chief here. So we have to go by the feeling. And I have the feeling that Gabriele should have pit at least 2 laps earlier. At least if I was his crew chief, that's what I would have asked him to do. Again, you can see he's coming there to more lap traffic. Fortunately, it's nearly the end of the lap, so he's not going to be hampered by these ones. And there he goes. Now it's going to be interesting to see what kind of tire choice he makes. Probably, since he has decided to split the race in 2, he's going to have the same tire choices now. But it could be that he has the feeling that the tires could go further or not enough, and he decides to change the compounds. Rolling smoothly there. And stopping cleanly in the marks. Mediums. Attention, he decided to put mediums. He had harder tires before, but he has gone for mediums. Now that's interesting. That's very interesting, because it seems to indicate that he probably was not satisfied with the temperatures that he was getting from the tires. Not per se the duration of the tires, the ability of them to resist the stint, but probably the temperatures. And this is very important here, because when you put a stiffer compound, a harder compound, it's not a matter just of the tires being able to give you grip enough during the whole stint. But the very important thing is also that they are on their working temperature margin. If they are not on the window where they operate properly, then it's a big problem. The car will not be as fast as it can, and you will be having issues, big issues here. So let's see, because this is a very important decision for Gabriele, and it's a bit of a risk. Because if he really was too optimistic with this, if the hard tires didn't work with him, but the mediums, however, are not going to work either, then he's going to be in big troubles afterward. We need to be looking at the lap times and see what goes on to see if that was really a good decision or not. So far, he came in front of David Sabre out of the pits, and he's been able to fend him off easily. Not that they are fighting for position, however, because remember he had lapped him recently. Gabriele is now third, and is 14 seconds behind the leader. But the leader has not pit yet. That's Richard Wilkes, who has not stopped yet, and who has Grant Riddle 3.9 seconds behind him. All the pressure now on Richard Wilkes, who hasn't stopped yet. And we don't know what his strategy will be. Gabriele, of course, trying to, in any case, go as quick as possible, because whatever the guys in front of him do, that's not his business. His business is going as quick as he can, making the most of the race, and being there in the best position possible when things start to happen towards the end. And Richard Wells is indicating pit stop now, sorry. He's coming now, still about some turns to go, but he's indicating the pit stop. Grant coming very quick from behind, but Grant apparently will need still one more pit stop. Let's see how it goes for Richard Wilkes. There he is, going smoothly into the pits. Hopefully he remembers that there is a pit speed limit. swinging in there and going very slowly there to his pit spot. So Grant is obviously now passed. He's the leader. And Gabriele Del Piccolo should be overtaking Richard Wilkes. Now he has done it. So Wilkes is now third. Pit stop going normal now, as predicted, but it seems to be a very long one. And he has decided to go with a big compound. He's on the mediums, same as Gabriele. That's an interesting choice. Very long pit stop for Richard Wilkes. I don't think that he's happy with it. He will be coming out of the pits. Let's see. Out of the pits now, and I think he's about 6-7 seconds behind Gabriele, but no, I think it's a bit higher than that. You have us also in the pits. So many people here deciding to go on a single pit stop. There is Gabriele negotiating the last turn. And he seems to have a 12-second advantage over Richard Wilkes. We will see how it goes then in the race, because there are still 37 laps to go. 37 very tiresome laps. And Richard Wilkes for sure knows that Gabriele is his main rival now, because they are both on the same strategy. Grant Ridal will likely have to do one more pit stop, but Gabriele and Richard Wilkes are on the exact same strategy. So these 11 seconds, Richard Wilkes has to make up for them, and also he has to overtake him once he gets there. Not an easy feat by any means, but we will see how it goes. Meanwhile, Grant is unfazed there in the front, going as quick as he can, opening the gap as much as possible, probably very much aware that he needs one more pit stop to go, or that's our prediction at least, considering how soon he pit in his first one. Coming now to lap traffic. That's not going to help him at all. Gabriele Del Piccolo indeed reducing the gap to Grant now, since he seems to be stuck a bit behind traffic. So for a reference, Grant Ridal is just in turn 1, while Gabriele just coming now there. And indeed, there you go. Quickest lap, fastest lap so far by Gabriele Del Piccolo, 1:31.6. Gabriele seems to be smelling victory here. Probably he's much aware of the fact that Grant has one more pit stop to go, and he knows that he must be getting closer. He really has Grant now in sight. He's only down some hundreds of yards down the track. Oof, pushing it a lot there. Very dangerous, very dangerous. 2 wheels in the grass. And there you can see the amount of traffic. I hope you can see it in your screens. The big amount of traffic, the traffic jam that Grant had to negotiate some laps before. Now this is the situation that Gabriele is going to encounter. Seven seconds behind the leader for him. And if there is a driver that grows up and that really becomes very impressive when he has a chance to do well, that's Gabriele. Very dependent of his state of mind, but very effective when he's focused. Dariusz Lapinski going to the pits now. And Keijo Miki is here in the main straight, obviously making room for Gabriele. Lets him by in the braking zone. And Gabriele just looking down the road with their blue gear seems to become bigger and bigger. Here is coming the lap traffic, Fernando Porteiro and Luciano Rocha, who are having a fight on their own. Whoops, Fernando Porteiro briefly goes out of the track, but that was only a big help for Gabriele. And he's coming now to Luciano Rocha. Very
I'm back.
complicated, this track. Hello, Jason.
So I'm sure we've got our fill of looking at Gabriel. So where should I go?
Well, we got Grant now as leader, but he likely will have to do one more pit stop. Gabriele is negotiating the traffic, but is focused on trying to gain ground on Grant, which is the second. Third is Richard Wilkes, and everybody has done already a pit stop. And there are right now no battles on the track. I mean, at least no battles that are close enough for us to be following.
So maybe it's time for the trivia question?
That'd be a good time, yes. I will only say meanwhile that Bruno Chacon has abandoned, which is a very, very unlikely event, but that's what has happened.
Wow.
Yes.
All right, so the trivia question for this broadcast is... Hang on one moment. Which driver set the fastest race lap in the 1986 Hungarian Grand Prix? Was it A, Nigel Mansell, B, Nelson Piquet, or C, Alain Prost? Time's up. What do you say?
I'm going with Nigel.
I am sorry. Oh goodness, my sounds have jammed up again. The answer is Nelson Piquet.
Okay, it was going to be one of both ways, yes.
We're
I
gonna
was
be-
sure that Alain Prost wasn't going to be.
No, it is definitely Nelson Piquet. Where's my wrong? It's not gonna play.
Okay.
Watch, it'll play after I go back to the race.
There you go. I'm still unlucky on that. Unlucky in the game.
There we go. Well, it could have been any of those guys, frankly. Yeah.
That
All
was
right,
a hard
so-
one because it was not about the data that you normally keep record of.
True, yeah. So yeah, Wilkes up into third place now. I mean, he recovered pretty well. Does he have another pit stop he has to make, or is he on a one-stopper?
No, here's the situation now. Wilkes, who is on mediums, which is the same compound that Gabriele Del Piccolo picked, they are on a one pit stop strategy, and they made their own stop already. Grant, who seems to be on a two-stop strategy and has suffered that drive-through, seems to be on a two-stop strategy. So Grant is now 8 seconds in front, and he's pushing like mad. And I'm betting that the reason is that he knows that he has a second pit stop to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be coming, let me see, 25 times 2, around lap 50, 51, something like that. We should be seeing how Grant stops.
That's not far away.
No, it's not far away. And although the situation is because of that drive-through, I'm not sure if maybe he chose a different compound so as to be able to make it in a single pit stop. I don't think so. I mean, knowing Grant, I believe that he will stick to his strategy and simply try to drive the wheels out of the car. But you never know. I couldn't see what his compound was when he stopped. I for sure know that Wilkes and Gabriele seem to be confident that the medium is good enough for them to do not just half the race, but also to have the temperatures that they need to have it working with the track temperatures that we are having today.
Oh, goodness. One of the Ocel is getting out of the way there.
Yeah, Little I was a bit surprised by what Grant was doing, so he basically moved completely out of the way. So 6 seconds behind is Gabriele Del Piccolo.
Yep.
And this is very interesting because theoretically Grant should be having a stiffer, a harder compound than Gabriele, because Sorry, he should be having a softer compound than Gabriele because he's doing 2 stops instead of 1. However, Grant is continuously losing ground to Gabriele Del Piccolo. So he is not really any quicker with whatever compound he's using, which means that if he has to do another pit stop, things are not boding well for him.
Well, something to keep in mind. And I gotta say, Wilkes is probably very breathing a sigh of relief being where he is right now, because with all the with the bad start that he had, I mean, really, he's at a point now where he's trying to maintain his points lead, and third place will definitely be a good finish with regard to keeping him in the points hunt. Probably he's going to stay in the lead after this, I would think. And Yuha is in fourth. That's surprising considering how much, as Jonathan might say, hargy-bargy was going on. But I think Yuha is in a situation where, you know, this is a track that's very narrow and very has a lot of corners, and basically you've got to go for any daylight you see if you want to get by, and the laps tick away pretty quickly here. John Team in 5th place. That's a fantastic effort for him in the Lola. Anders Nilsson in 6th. Imagine that, a Lola ahead of a Ferrari. And Saber actually is still hanging on in 7th place, so he may yet get a points finish there for Tyrrell. 8th is Janik. I'm surprised Janik didn't move up more since I was gone. Whitehead is in 9th, so I don't know. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from John Team's driving ability, but apparently the Lola is very happy here. Cesarius is in 10th.
It's also a very nice handling car. Quite agile, so it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Hackman is in 11th place. KO is in 12th. 13th, Luciano Rocha. And this is a battle for position right here between Rocha and
there's also one between Yannick and Saber, by the way, for 7th position. Poor David Saber. I mean, he was in a very good position. He's driving a great race today, but all his battles have been about defending, which is a shame.
Look at him close up here. Definitely going to be having a look in a second here. Oh, Coxon with some very interesting pieces of information. Tambay qualified 6th in real life for this race. So, yeah, I guess the car did a lot better here than I would have remembered. And it appears that Cesarius got by Hackman.
Oh, Alberto out of the track. Now, that was a very strange move. Something really weird happened there. Can you reply, please?
Yeah, I'm replaying right now. Oh my goodness, he got shut off by a Lola there. That he wasn't expecting that.
Team? He was, I think.
Yeah.
Was that for position with John Team?
I think it was.
I think they got both confused when Grant Ridal was coming. They probably got the blue flags indicated.
God. So an awkward moment there. But, goodness. Interesting situation here with, when you run up on, I mean, so far we haven't seen many instances where there have been awkward situations with back markers. Most of the time people have been very, very judicious about it. But in this case, goodness, that was it's about as awkward a situation as you could get.
And look at the complicated, twisty nature of this track, because Brian Janik is there aching to pass, and he cannot find the geometry to do it. I'm saying the geometry because he's going left, he's going right, he's trying to really find a way to get an advantage on the car, but it's impossible. Here is the moment where he can do it.
Yeah, this is it, right here. If he's going to make an overtake, this is the place to do it, and it looks like he's trying to... Yeah, he's going up the inside now,
BMW power...
He just gets it done.
Yeah, David was out in the
marbles. Oh,
marbles.
contact.
David was out on the marbles, and that helped him. But it was really, really narrow.
Yeah, this track is not especially wide. That's the other problem.
No, I tell you, this is one of the tracks. We've said it many times in this podcast. This is one of those tracks where the professionals has to really take the professional card out and say, "Let's do the job here today." You know, bring
Yep.
up your sleeves and say, "We got here a complicated race to do today, and we're going to make the best of it."
Yeah, basically. This is not a track where when you hear you're going here for a race, people go, "Oh, hot dog!" You know,
Yeah.
it's just not one of those.
Gabriele Del Piccolo has already Grand Ridal on his sides.
Yeah, he does.
Not yet in striking distance, but
Nilsson is climbing all over John Team and might have a shot at him here. Yeah, he's got him really well set up coming down the straightaway now.
while Cesarius hits the wall and is without a front wing.
Oh.
Coming back to the track now.
So John Team drops to 6th, and that promotes Nilsson to 5th. And you're right. Actually, Wilkes now ready to overtake a Drexler in a Minardi. Oh! Wilkes has gone off the track. He's spun. Goodness, and now he's dropped to 3rd. Or no, he wasn't 3rd.
No,
my apologies.
Third.
He wasn't 3rd. My apologies. But it looks like he just had I think that was another instance of the back end getting away from him on acceleration, which is what happened. Oh no, I know exactly what it is. He clipped the curb.
Yeah. The curbs are very high. They are very unforgiving. So if you
That's what
clip them,
happened.
you're in big trouble. So
Alright.
Gabriele Del Piccolo is now only 2.8 seconds behind Grand Ridal. And I've mentioned it while you were away. Gabriele is one of those guys that when he's motivated, when he's in striking distance, when he smells the blood in the water, he's unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
He really becomes so much bigger, so much quicker, so much laser focused when he has a good result.
Oh, there's some more agricultural driving.
Grant in the pits, attention. It was indeed a second stop for him waiting.
All right, here he comes.
No, drive-through penalty?
Another? What? Del Piccolo goes into the lead. How is he getting drive-throughs? Was he just speeding again?
I don't know.
Good grief. There's going to be a lot of discussion about this after the race.
He was, let me see, he was above the pit speed limit when entering the pit.
There you go.
And
That's enough.
no, but not, I don't think he was in the moment he entered the pit lane. Okay,
Wow.
no drive-through for him. It doesn't indicate it now. Okay.
Wow.
I don't know why it indicated it, but no, he's clean.
Okay, well, that's good to know. But now he's down to 2nd place. Del Piccolo promoted to the lead.
Big accident from Little Al there in the main straight. He put the car in the wall and it's absolutely total.
Let's look at a replay of this.
So I
Oh,
was watching.
he just,
I was watching
he just
Wilkes.
loses it on...
I was watching Wilkes, who is 3rd, and wanted to know how far he is from Grand Ridal. Because after the pit stop from Grant, he's obviously now 2nd. What? Okay, let me see, because I want to have a clear view of this. So, Gabriele is now 33 seconds in front of Grand Ridal.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard Wilkes is a further 20 seconds down from Grand Ridal,
Yes.
which is a shame, and I think it's down to his spin. Then, already very far away, no longer in striking distance, is Juha Boss, who is 4th. And from then on, everybody's lapped, including Ander Nilsson, who is the 5th. But Gabriele now has really a good chance here. He's 33 seconds in front, and we should be keeping an eye on his lap times. Grant is now on fresh tires.
Yes, he is.
So that's going to be...
Well, the other thing that
make him quicker.
he is quicker, but he also has the same problem with traffic that everybody else does. So it's going to be a lot of like throwing dice in Vegas. You know, is he going to arrive at a corner with a back marker in a fortuitous way or in an awkward way?
Yeah, because if you get hampered by a back marker here, even if it's just one corner, it may completely throw off.
See, that was a very
lap time.
fortunate arrival at a back marker there. He could use that straightaway to get by. In other situations, he could have been bottlenecked.
I'm waiting to see what lap time we get from him the next time he gets by, because Gabriele is doing about 130, 131, depends on the situation, but his tires are not going to improve anything. So whatever Grant is doing now is going to tell us if he will be able to catch up or not with Gabriele. Because Gabriele has done already the first half of the race with those tires, and he knows very well what he can do.
Well, we'll see when he comes across the line here. I mean, obviously he was having to negotiate with a back marker there, but we'll see what happens once he crosses the line, if the gap has decreased at all.
Yeah, because the previous lap time was 2 minutes, which was obviously due to the pit stop. But we'll see now what happens. 130.9. Okay, that's about what Gabriele did on the last lap. But in this situation, Grant was hampered by a lap car. And in the case of Gabriele, I think it was an effort that he did 2 laps before. He was a bit slower in the following ones. I think it's safe to say that had it not been for the unfortunate situation with the drive-through, Grant would be, well, maybe not in the lead, but he would be in striking distance now. So Gabriele's last lap time was 131.7, which is about 1 second slower than Grant.
Well, let's take a look at what his time is when he comes around this time. A lot of racing is taking advantage of OPP, other people's problems. I know that drivers like to win on their own merit or do well on their own merit, but, frankly, that is a dimension of racing.
131.2. So that's about half a second slower than Grant Ridal. But
Grant runs off the track a little bit there. He's definitely pushing it.
Yeah, he's pushing it because he knows he needs to eat about 1 second per lap to Gabriele to be able
if he has any hope of winning.
Yes. Gabriele is, however, managing the situation because 2 laps ago he was as quick as Grant. So he basically is trying to not force the car and stay into a rhythm.
Coxon is asking if Del Piccolo pitted.
He only pit once.
Just once.
He did
that
a
means
single pit stop and he put mediums, the same as Richard Wilkes, same strategy. And it was precisely on lap 36.
Okay. There you go. So it's lap 54 right now. So we have about 23 laps to go. And definitely going to be tight, I think, if he can keep up this kind of pressure. But he can't have any off-course excursions like we saw there. Oh, no! Don't touch the wall, Grant. Don't touch the wall.
Oops. That's going to hurt.
Yeah, that just basically added a bunch of time. So, yeah, any more of those, and I think... no, we didn't hit anything. Okay. So... Yeah. And he's off again. I think the tires are super hot now.
Hit him.
Oh, goodness.
It was absolutely... Yeah, well, David was in a hurry to not lose contact with Brian Jennick because they are fighting for position, and Grant was there in the middle with the tires going so much slower than both of them.
Wow.
So it was a bit of a misunderstanding.
Yep, that is a misunderstanding. Good grief.
So what this means now is that Grant could fall into the clutches of Richard Wilkes, and this is something important for the championship because they are both fighting for it.
Yes, it is very important. Although there's Richard Wilkes doing some agricultural driving too. So
Wilkes also pit once and went for mediums. And I think because I'm not sure if they started with hards. I think, yes, Wilkes started with hards, and he decided to switch to mediums. So I'm thinking that his rationale was that without the big load of the heavy fuel, he could actually manage well the mediums and be much quicker in this second part of the race. But it could happen that he needs to be hitting them hard to be able to keep them at the operating temperature, in which case he needs to basically be killing the car, be absolutely on top of it all the time to keep them in the temperature window.
How much of these mistakes, Alberto, do you think you can lay at the feet of just this being a tiring race?
I think it's the most of it, because this track is so tiresome in nature. I mean, for our viewers who haven't driven it, or maybe haven't driven in anger in tracks, or even in this kind of tracks, it's hard to explain with words how complicated this track is, because it's all the time you're coming out of the corner and you have to hold on the throttle because there is another corner coming. And that's already tiresome enough when you're driving on your own, but you can somehow keep the focus. But if you're trying to overtake another car, if you're trying to basically match the gap for another car to overtake in a lap car, even if they are making it easy for you, it's incredibly tiresome. Mentally, it's incredibly tiresome. So it wouldn't surprise me much if we could lay basically all the blame for all the errors that we have seen in this.
Yeah, and I mean, as sim racers, we don't really have the physical aspect. It's more mental, but I can only imagine how tiring it is to just be doing one corner after another, after another, after another, after another in these cars in real life.
So Wilkes is doing 134s, which is the same as Grant did on the last lap. However, Grant can go quicker. He was actually going quicker when he was with having Gabriele Del Piccolo on his sides.
Mm-hmm.
But after the situation that has happened, it seems that his confidence has gotten a big blow. And if he stays in these lap times, he could be looking at fending Richard Wilkes off at the end of the race. I mean, they are nearly in visual distance now.
There is a potential battle developing here for 8th place, also between Jason Whitehead and David Saber. Jason is starting to close in with his Lola.
Mm-hmm.
Jason, another driver who generally is a super sub in ISO competition, takes a lot of guest drives. And it looks like the leader is coming up now, or no, actually that is Wilkes.
No, it's Wilkes.
It's Wilkes
who's coming now, so
mm-hmm.
that's going to be here. Wilkes, obviously Whitehead is going to let him by here,
mm-hmm.
braking. But that's not going to help him in his quest to get to David Sabre. In any case, I can see that the gap between Wilkes and Grant seems to have dropped down to 5 seconds, and
mm-hmm.
indeed, if you watch from Wilkes' car, you can see there in front the blue speck of the Ligier.
Yes, you can. There it is.
Few things are more motivating than this for a driver. To have the visual reference there of the car you're getting to. I'm not sure if maybe Grant has some kind of damage in the car after all these situations, even if he didn't impact anything, maybe in the curbs or something. Maybe he has flat spots on the tires. I'm not sure.
Perhaps.
Whoops! Grant! He has hit the wall.
Oh no! Replay.
Yeah, he was forcing the car all the time. That was
evident. Yeah, there it is, right there. The back end just gets out from underneath him. Oh my goodness. And he's out of the race for sure because he's lost wheels. Oh, unbelievable.
Well, that's going to be a big help for Wilkes in the
championship.
Oh yeah,
are you kidding?
We barely missed him, by the way.
That's a big help for Wilkes' championship aspirations. It's a huge help. Juha is going to move up to 3rd place in a podium possibly for him.
And we must have now a very delighted Italian there on top.
Oh, yes. Yep, Juha has just now gone up to 3rd place. This means that eventually Nilsson will be in 4th, Team will be in 5th, and Brian Janik will be in the points in 6th.
Which is going to leave poor David Sabre tantalizingly close.
Yeah, he's in the Jonathan.
And he still has to fend off Jason Whitehead.
He does, yeah, that's... Yeah, Sabre just now lapped by Wilkes. Yeah, John Team turning in an excellent performance today. So 20 laps to go now in the Hungarian Grand Prix with Del Piccolo leading. the race
That's
by
still a long way to go in this track. Very long.
Yeah, that is a long way to go, but equally long is the gap between Wilkes and Del Piccolo, which is just about a little less than a minute.
Probably not good enough for Del Piccolo.
Well,
Because he must be now sweating and trying to nurse the motor. I'm looking at him from cockpit view, and he's really not trying to push it past 10,000 RPMs. Nursing the engine there, or past 11, let's say. It depends. Just the odd shift goes up there, but in general, he's really taking baby care of the engine. Very steady driving by him, I must say. He really looks well in this track.
I see that Paggiola's out of the race. What happened to him?
I'm not sure because he had a drive-through and then he went out of the track and abandoned, but I don't think he had critical damage. I'm not sure what happened there. Oops, Brian Janik blew the engine.
Oh no!
Yeah, first engine retirement, I believe.
Well, he was pushing the car very hard, if I remember correctly, so yeah, it happened too far ago. Dang. So that means that that puts Saber up into 6th place. So he could yet finish in the points for Tyrrell.
Yeah, let's see if he gets some reward for the good race that he has been doing today.
Coxon pointing out to us that the Brabham gets a major power increase in the next race. So that's
Which
going
is
to be
only going to do well for him because it's the
Yes.
Österreiching.
Oh, that's right. Couldn't have come at a better time. Yeah, poor Coxon, first car out of the race. So the question is, when will Del Piccolo pit?
No, I don't think he will.
He
be
won't?
pitting. He basically did a pit stop.
Just a
half
one
the
stop
race.
and that's it?
That's the same as Wilkes, so I don't think either of them is going to pit. But with the advantage that Del Piccolo has now, he could actually, if he wanted to be just sure, he could pit and nothing would happen.
Yeah, but I doubt I would want to do that. Just doubt
It's
it.
always a risk. This is not the Formula One of the late 90s or the 2000s. Yeah, this is a moment when the crew may be holding up for too long.
Yeah.
Holding up you, so
Not a risk I would take. And then Wilkes is what we would call in a solid 2nd place. He's got miles in front of him to 1st and miles behind him to 3rd. 42 seconds back is Juha in 3rd place.
And
then 8 seconds back to Nilsson.
yeah, it's not a big difference to Nilsson, so you have it to take care. Because any error on his part would mean that he's out. Okay, wait a moment, I'm seeing... okay. Bruno Paggiola was saying that he had force feedback issues on the wheel, losing the center position, and he could not handle the car anymore.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah, it was a shame because he was doing really well.
Well, we know what he can do now with that car.
That's for sure.
So the top 6 in the points are Del Piccolo, Wilkes, Juha, Anders Nilsson, John Team, and David Saber.
Really happy for Anders, for John Team, because he has been doing some very good drives this season. And it's good to be him there in the points paying position, although I'm not going to say it twice in front of the mirror.
The Candyman will appear, and we'll have yet more evidence for our YouTube
For the inexistent course.
for the YouTube conspiracy theorists, and we don't want to give them more evidence. But yeah, John is doing an excellent job.
So a full minute now is the advantage of Gabriele Del Piccolo.
So it's been going up.
And
Yeah.
I think for him it's going to be a difficult decision, because he should be able to make it till the end. But I mean, he could do a pit stop and not be hurt by it.
Why would he want to pit?
Well, just in case his choice for the mediums is not the best one. I think he was on a harder component the first half of the race. I don't remember it very well, but well, I think his tires are working very well. But the problem with these tires is they can suddenly fall off a cliff. So as I said, it's going to be tempting. I think he's going to try to make it till the end.
Yeah, if I were in his
It's
shoes, I
always
would
something
too.
that will be there in the back of his mind.
Unless the tires are so shot.
Yeah, but like I said, this can happen. Some point. I mean, he stopped in lap 36, which is not even half the race. It's a bit short of it, but we will see.
Yeah, and Adam Hackman is in 8th place, my Penske teammate, so didn't hear a lot about him in this race, but slow and steady, and he hasn't had the greatest of seasons with the Williams team so far, so a finish for him in the top 10 would be a very welcome result.
Yep, that's for sure.
KO is all the way up to 9th place. That's a very good drive for him. Yeah, that's great to see. And then Luciano Rosa in the West Zaxby's entry. He is in 10th place, last car in the top 10, and his teammate Cesarius is in 11th.
I should also mention, even if he's far behind, but that Francois Remen is in 15th position. Well, it's actually 13th position because Brian Janik and Grant Ridal are out of the race, and he will be overtaking their position soon. But given the bad luck he has had in the previous races, it's great to see him here, hanging on.
Mm-hmm. Then in 12th place is Janik still, and Drexler is 13th. So cars in the last two cars running are Drexler and Francois Remen, and they're now just starting to advance up the order because of the DNFs that are dropping through.
Mm-hmm.
So Francois is 15th, the last car running at the
now
moment.
Now Drexler is 12th.
Yeah, Drexler is now 12th, and Remen eventually will be 13th. He is currently classified 15th. As there he lets Anders Nilsson by the Ferrari.
And Wilkes is going even a bit slower than Gabriele. So he really wants to basically consolidate that second position, which given the start of the race, the nightmare start of the race that he had, I think that he's more than happy to run away today with the second.
Yeah, I think he'll gladly take second place today after that start.
Especially with Grant out of the equation.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. He is doing the technically superior thing right now for the championship.
Yeah, the key now is to be able to keep focus and keep the concentration on this complicated track, because there are still 14 laps to go. It's always
still
something.
Quite a distance.
Yeah. And when you're driving on your own here, it's always exhausting also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would imagine it is. Mentally, because you have to maintain focus. Yeah, so things have basically settled down here. There's no one really in contest.
You should have prepared more trivia questions for
I
today.
guess I should have, yeah. Well, we can talk about what's coming up next week.
You can.
So we got the Machinist Union 150 coming up at Trenton. This is our second race at Trenton in this series. It's a very interesting point situation. David at the top, yours truly in second place. But this is a track that definitely is going to test everybody's mental acuity. It's a shorter race than the previous one. The previous race was a 200-miler. So it is more of a sprint. People are probably going to be turning the boost up and, well, I don't know, maybe not. What do you think?
It's a 150-mile one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a sprint race. Yeah, people are going to be mad because there is not long enough race to go on a strategy. So I think, yeah, it's going to be quite wild and quite aggressive, which is probably the main reason they made the race like that in real life in the first place.
And then, of course, this circuit, the following race is going to be at the Österreich Ring, which is going to be very high speed. Why do I get the feeling that there's going to be a really strange altercation at the Hella Licht corner on the start? I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I tell you one thing, I'm really looking forward to see the cars race at the Österreich Ring because these cars were really meant to work well at those big tracks where you could really put all the power down. And it's going to be mind-boggling. It's a very dangerous track. It's a very complicated track. And I'm really looking forward to that race.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully Sabre can make it to the end. I know there are a lot of people in the chat pulling for him.
Yep. And Juha Boss probably never ever could have expected this possible third place when the race was starting.
Mm-hmm.
So he must be also quite happy with it.
Yeah, it's certainly
because once you have to drop scores, I mean, the more podiums you have, the better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dropping scores basically favor the regular people who are sometimes on the very top and sometimes they have a miserable race.
I mean, the whole point of the drop scores thing is to try to promote better competition, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make them more aggressive.
Yeah.
And want to do that. I mean, even take the risks. Because having a win and having an abandonment, when you are dropping scores, is actually, it cancels out. So that's the idea. Risk it. Be brave. Which is very funny to see how somehow contradictory it is that a driver that was very calculating like Prost was winning the championships in this era. Basically working against the point style.
Well, the best laid plans of mice and men, you know, a lot of times in racing history, the powers that be make choices that they hope will create a better competition, and sometimes they get it right, but a lot of times they don't, and the exact opposite often happens. So, like,
wow, a yellow
like,
flag. There's a car in the wall. There's Cesarius Lapinski.
oh no, that's too bad. Well, he does have all his wheels still attached, so he should be able to. Or wait, does he? Or is that a wheel from another car? No, that's a wheel from another car back there. So he could, in theory, limp around and get that repaired and finished.
He's missing the front wing.
Yes, but he's got all his round bits. So
You have Boss coming now up to him.
Oh goodness, he may be.
He's very wise from Cesarius.
He's making room. That's right. Yeah. At first, I thought he was retiring, but he was actually just making room.
The misinterpretation of it. Mm-hmm. Okay, Anders Nilsson.
Yeah.
Opens up. Yeah, very well. So he's going to be able to enter.
Now, if Cesarius gets a speed violation here, I'll be surprised.
Yeah. Losing out to his teammate today, Luciano Rocha, doing a brilliant race. We're used to see him doing some very good races.
Yeah, Luciano, I'm really curious to see how he's going to do in the Eagle 78 next Sunday. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a diabolical track. We also have similar to this race, we've got a one or two people making their debuts with ISO. So at least one that I know of. So it's going to be another case of we have new faces, new blood, which is always a welcome thing.
But an interesting situation here with Keijo Mikiels trying to unlap himself from John Tim.
Oh yeah, that's true. And it looks like he's going to make an attempt. No, he does not. Makes a liar out of me.
And Anders Nilsson has been gaining a bit of ground on Juha Boss. It's only 7 seconds apart now. They were 10 some laps before. And I'm going to give you the lap times that they have been doing. So yeah, I can see why. Because Anders Nilsson has been doing 134, steady 134s, but he was in 131.5 one lap before. He really pushed the throttle there. In the case of Juha Boss, it's been 133, 134, 132, but in the previous lap it was 131. I'm not sure if it was because he felt the pressure by Anders. Both can go quicker, but both are on a slower rhythm, albeit Anders is a bit quicker.
Interesting.
Yeah, let's see what happens in this next lap.
So we're getting close to the end here. 10 laps to go in this race. Del Piccolo leads by 46 seconds, so he's throttled back quite a bit. Richard Wilkes is in second. Juha Boss third, who you're looking at now. Anders Nilsson is in fourth. John Team is fifth. David Saber is sixth. Jason Whited, seventh. Adam Hackman is eighth. K.O. McHeels in an excellent drive is ninth. Luciano Rosa, also a very good drive, is in 10th. Mikael Drexler, 11th. Cesarius Lipinski, 12th. And Francois Remen, 13th. Those are the last of the drivers who are in this race. 13 cars still running.
So Juha Boss goes by the start line now, 131.6. And Anders Nilsson does the same in 131.6. So they have both speed up.
Yep, the battle is on, even if it's from a distance.
Yeah, it's in the distance. This is one of those interesting situations that usually it goes unnoticed for the viewers unless you are explaining what's going on. Anders is here putting pressure on Juha Boss, and Juha is responding. So they are both 7 seconds apart, but sending messages to each other. They are telegraphing to each other. I can do that. Be aware. I want to put pressure on you. And the other is responding. I'm unfazed by that. I can do it also. But if you go on a high camera from under Nilsson's car, you can see that Juha is not really that far away. I mean, the slightest error on the part of Juha, and Anders would be in front.
Yep, there he is. He's not far away.
Which is exactly what Anders is intending to do.
Yep, there he is.
Let's see what this lap shows. So for Juha Boss, this one will be, let's see, coming now to the last turn. 131.8.
So 2/10 slower, but still really close.
And Anders Nilsson is 132. So even if he was slower, Anders also was. So the gap stays. And Gabriele has put 3 additional seconds on Richard Wilkes. He seems to be really happy, really comfortable in that rhythm.
Luciano making room. All right, so 7 laps to go now as they come around. So looking at the points chart, actually, one thing that we can think about here, Wilkes being in second here is going to be picking up 6 points, which will give him 47. Grant Riddall will stay at 34 because he's out of the race. Nilsson will be picking up 3 points, so he'll have 34. That will tie him then with Grant.
Yeah, all these without drop scores. Of course.
But Juha Boss will have picked up 4 points, and that will give him 35. So you'll have a really big there'll still be quite a scrum second through fourth for this race. And, of course, David Jakes won't be scoring in this race. So there may be a new name there on that top 5 list after this race is over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in any case, with 9 points at play for every victory, if you miss one race, if you have a retirement, you can pay for it yearly later.
Mm-hmm.
Seven seconds seems to be steady. The steady gap between Nilsson and Juha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it must be a really nice situation to be in Del Piccolo's spot right now. I mean, he earned it, obviously, but he just can take his time. And, we got a yellow flag in this area. What's going on? It appears, yes, David... Oh, no! David Saber has had an off. Oh.
Well, he hasn't lost the position, so...
No, and he still has all his appendages. Let's have a... Oh, no, actually, he's lost a wing, according to the replay.
Well, if there is one place where you see the very close to pit entry. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Well, that's... I'm surprised he didn't lose his rear wing on top of that, because he...
Okay, yes, but with all this, Juha has lost a full second to Anders Nilsson. Because he had to slow down and avoid the accident or the...
Avoiding that accident. Huh.
So let me see. Well, David Sabre is safe in any case because Jason Whited, who is 7th, is 2 laps behind him. So
yeah, that's true. So he can make the stop and still stay there. So yeah, that's a good point. Well, he's going to be 1 lap down now because everyone's Whited.
Look, last lap for Juha was 1:34.8 due to that incident. In the case of Anders, it was 1:31.9.
Yep.
So there you go. That's the explanation of the sudden drop in the distance. Oops, race control penalty for Cesarius Lapinski, drive-through, probably missed the pit speed exit.
Oh boy.
So 5 seconds between Anders Nilsson and Juha Boss, and I think that Anders is really pushing it now. He's upping his game, and he's going to give a nightmare finish of the race for Juha.
That's the intent. We'll see if it comes to fruition. He's got about 6 laps to do it.
Yeah, I don't think he has any hope of getting to Juha and overtaking him, but he's putting so much pressure on Juha that he could force Juha into an error, and that's what he really wants. The gap is visibly smaller now. But Juha is speeding up now. But that's exactly what Anders wants. That Juha is forced to speed up and to go quicker and to take risks.
Yeah, that's what you do. You put pressure on him. If you can't be dicing with him, you at least try to put pressure so that force them into making a mistake.
Yes, we have said this is a fight in the distance. Whoops, another yellow flag in this sector.
Yeah, what's going on
That's
here?
Michael Drexler out of the track.
Oh, man.
Fortunately, no effect on the leader now. On the leader, sorry.
Yep, there he goes.
Juha coming to lap traffic.
Another great race for Juha in a car that, frankly, is not suited to this track, although he did have a lot of contact early on.
Well, we didn't expect the Benetton to be very much well suited to this track, and look at Gabriele. He's really having a field day today.
I picked the wrong Benetton.
You were right, at least, in that the Benetton
I was right about the
of winning.
Right church, wrong pew.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so off the corner comes Juha, and this is going to be the start of lap 74. So 3 laps to go, or actually 4 laps, 74, 75, 76, and 77.
He has opened the gap.
Oh, Wilkes has
Anders.
run off the track.
Who?
Wilkes ran off the track just now.
Okay.
My goodness, people are...
Keio. While making room for Juha, he nearly lost the car there.
Well, seems to be okay from where we are. Oh, shoot. Yeah, be careful, KO. So the gap is basically a minute and 10 seconds now between... How did that happen? That's odd. How did it suddenly become a minute and 10 seconds? It was 42 seconds before.
No. In my score, it has always been above 1 minute, and Gabriele
All
has
right.
been opening it.
Oh, well,
Because
okay.
Wilkes-
I know.
Wilkes has
Sorry,
settled in the
I know
rhythm.
the answer because Wilkes ran off the road as well. That
Yeah,
added.
very
There you go. So 2 laps to go now for Gabriele Del Piccolo, and this would be his second win of the year, I believe, assuming that he can bring it home. But a really good drive. I mean, how do you account for all the... I mean, apart from driving skill, how do you account for the fact that he's finishing so far ahead?
It's remember that he has been the only one who has had no incidents in the
That's
top.
true, yeah.
All the rest, Wilkes has had several out-track excursions. Grant had his drive-through and also excursions. Juha Boss has had several incidents also. So Gabriele has been basically the only one to make a completely clean race.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a very good. It's a very good analysis of this situation. All right, so Gabriel getting ready to start his final lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix.
And Nilsson is closer than ever, but it's going to fall short.
Yeah, most likely.
Although Boss is coming now to lap traffic, John Team.
Here comes off the final corner to start his last lap. And it'll be interesting to see what happens at the Austrian Grand Prix because of the power increase that Brabham's going to have. We may see a BMW war going on there. We'll see. But a fantastic drive today from Gabriel, and a great recovery drive by Richard Wilkes, considering the poor start that he had. Juha, a fantastic result, assuming that he can get the car around here in a car that's not suited for this track. Anders, pretty quiet day for him, but a points finish. John Team, I mean, I can't say enough about how good of a drive this is. John's proving to really be a good fit for this car. And then Saber, he has emerged from the pits, and hopefully he can drive this car to get the 6th place. A very, very well-deserved 6th place for the Tyrrell team.
Whatever the case, all the guys that finished today here are real heroes because the track is one of the most complicated.
They're probably all going to need showers.
Whoops, there was a yellow flag there in front and
Yeah,
a car
not sure
that
what
has
that was.
abandoned.
Not sure what that was, but
Jason Whitehead has abandoned.
Oh, well, that was Hackman. Hackman pulling off the road.
Hackman pulling off the road, yes, but
Yeah.
Jason Whitehead has also quit the race.
My goodness.
Well, so close to the end. Hackman also quit?
And there it is. Gabriel Del Piccolo wins the Hungarian Grand Prix for Benetton in a dominating drive, in a drive with no mistakes that we could see, which, as Alberto quite rightly points out, was the key. Here comes Wilkes, who has got quite a ways yet to go still because he's a full minute behind. But this is going to be very good for Richard Wilkes' championship aspirations. He will take home 6 points. I wouldn't be surprised if Del Piccolo enters the top 5 in points after this race. Probably because he's probably just down the list and out of the top 5 picture. Yeah, that one corner there apparently really caught a lot of people off guard. The one that kind of switches back like that. That's where we had a lot of incidents today.
Whoops. The spin of Cesarius.
Oh, Cesarius spins right in front of Wilkes.
Wilkes' heart stopped there for a
Yeah,
heartbeat.
that's definitely not what you want to be seeing on your final lap. Wilkes exits the final turn, and he's going to take 2nd place for JPS Lotus. Excellent drive after a very lackluster start. Juha has already finished 3rd. Anders Nilsson is still on the track and is going to finish 4th for Ferrari, so the Tifosi will have something to be happy about. They'll probably still call for firings in the tabloids, knowing them. But in any case, good to see Ferrari get 1 points-paying position here. John Team is going to be finishing in 5th place for... oh my goodness, be careful there, Johnny. Last few corners here. And... or maybe he's already crossed the line, because that would...
No, he has crossed the line.
Yeah, that would explain why... That would explain the driving. He's turning donuts now. And David Saber is going to finish in 6th place. So that's an excellent result for him. And he was very lucky that he had that gap between himself and Jason Whited. Jason Whited finishing in... K.O. McKeels finishes in 7th place. This is because of the late retirements. Rocha finishes 8th. Hackman 9th out of the race. Whitehead in 10th out of the race, I believe. Michael Drexler in 11th. Francois Remin in 12th. And Cesarius Lipinski is finishing in 13th place. And I believe those are the last cars that were running. So that was the Hungarian Grand Prix. Unfortunately, we have to make a break for it here. I have commitments that I must honor. But thank you very much, Alberto, for calling this race with me. I apologize for having to duck out, but real life got in the way. I look forward to calling the next one with you in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so for Alberto Ibañez, this is Jason White saying so long from the Hungaroring. We'll see you next time. Everyone take care and be safe.